Hello everyone. Today I'm sharing a statistical trading framework that can be applied across any session. This builds on the concepts I introduced in my earlier videos about statistical time ranges. The goal of this framework is to help you implement those concepts across sessions, whether it's Asia, London, or New York, using pairs that are most suitable for each. The core idea remains the same. We define structured ranges based on time and price behavior. Within these ranges, we look for three potential entries. 1. A pre-entry taken within the initial range. 2. A break and retest of that initial range. 3. A break and retest of the secondary range, which is derived from levels such as 0%, 50%, 75%, or 100% of the defined secondary range. Each session follows this same framework, but the timing and duration of ranges differ. Depending on the session, we may have 1 or 2 initial entry ranges, 0 or 1 secondary range. The probability framework also applies here. Once a range is set, we measure the likelihood of price holding above-below until the projected session low or high. In short, every session is a model in itself. The framework is universal, but the session-specific ranges make it adaptable. Please follow the entire video to see how this applies step by step. In the whole framework, a break of range refers to a 5-minute candle close above the range. This is explained in depth in previous video, make sure to watch that. Statistical support and resistance. Now let's talk about statistical support and resistance. Every candle has 4 key points: open, high, low, and close, OHLC. From these, we derive 2 levels. Manipulation level, the lowest opposing move inside the candle. Distribution level, the highest move in the candle's main direction. For a bullish candle, the lowest bearish move equals manipulation low. The highest bullish move equals distribution high. For a bearish candle, it's reversed. The highest bullish move equals manipulation high. The lowest bearish move equals distribution low. By taking our statistical range as a single candle and averaging these levels across past historical ranges, we can automatically derive 4 special statistical levels. These act as precise support and resistance zones where price consistently reacts with high probability. This can be done easily using indicators, which I will share later in the video. I've shown a bearish example here to illustrate how these levels are identified and applied in practice. Standard entry module. Throughout all sessions, we follow the 3-part standard entry module, as shown in the initial diagram. This framework is universal and applies across Asia, London, and New York. Additional session-specific notes will be added as needed, but the core structure remains the same. Entry 1. Pre-entry in the initial range. This is our first and most common entry. Typical confluences include previous fair value gaps, FVGs. FVGs forming in the current price range. Reversal patterns such as inverse FVGs, value gaps, or any other module that aligns with your trading style. The key factor here is how price reacts to the manipulation level of the session range. If price respects the manipulation zone, we may see a reversal. If price breaks out of the manipulation level, it will likely continue toward the distribution level, where another reaction is expected. This behavior also helps us judge whether the range is likely to double break or stay contained. Even without this filter, the entry framework works reliably. Examples later in the video will make this clearer. Entry 2. Break and retest of the initial range. If price action in the initial entry range is unclear, we can wait for a clean break and retest of that range. Entry can then be taken from any defined point of interest within that structure. Entry 3. Secondary range entry. This is a scaling or re-entry opportunity, usually formed by the break and retest of the secondary range, or in some cases, a pre-entry within this range. Entries are taken at the statistical range levels or the 0%/100% extensions of the secondary range. Avoid entering at the extreme low or high of the range, as those points rarely retrace cleanly. Additional confluences, such as FVGs or structural shifts, may be used for confirmation. Targets and risk management. First target equals the opposite manipulation level. Second target equals the opposite distribution level. Extended targets equals swing highs lows or obvious liquidity pools. Always maintain a strict risk to reward. This is essential for long-term consistency. This is the exact process I follow, and when applied with discipline, it works consistently across all sessions. Asian session. Now let's discuss the Asian session. The key reference point in the Asian session is the range defined by the 9:00 p.m. to 12:00 a.m. 3-hour candle. From this, we mark our statistical support and resistance levels by using an indicator that automatically plots these levels for the session. For Asian entries, we focus on a single statistical range. The 30-minute range from 9:30 p.m. to 10:00 p.m. projected until midnight. There is no secondary range in Asia. Entries are limited to pre-entries or break-entry test setups within this range. Target instruments for the Asian session include Yen futures, USD JPY, Gold futures, XAU USD. Historically, these pairs show a 75-81% probability of a single break, with the highest probability in JPY pairs in recent years. In other words, when the 30-minute range breaks on one side, price tends to continue in that direction until the session range closes. Session notes. Always follow the standard entry module outlined earlier. Do not expect large targets. Asia typically trades in a tighter range compared to London or New York. The main advantage of this session is consistent, clean price action with minimal news-driven volatility. In practice, for bullish scenarios, try to wait until price taps the manipulation level of the statistical support resistance. Then apply the Entry 1 module, and if conditions allow, consider Entry 2 as well. This is the structure I follow for the Asian session: simple, disciplined, and effective. London session. The London session range runs from 2:30 a.m. to 8:00 a.m. Our statistical support and resistance levels are derived from this time window. Unlike Asia, London has two statistical ranges, which add confluence to directional bias. Range 1, initial rain. Time, 3:00 a.m. to 3:15 a.m., 15-minute rain. Projection, valid until 4:30 a.m. Historical probability, 77-82% chance of a single break over the last 5 years. Range 2, secondary rain. Time, 3:00 a.m. to 4:00 a.m., 1-hour rain. Projection, valid until 8:00 a.m. Historical probability, 77.4% chance of a single break. These two ranges can be combined to confirm direction and improve trade confidence. Target instruments. Euro futures, AUR USD. Both instruments show the cleanest reaction to London ranges, supported by high volume at the London session. Session notes. Always follow the standard entry module. London often establishes the high or low until the New York AM open, not the full day's high or low. Retracements are typically shallow on the hourly secondary range statistically. The most reliable retracement trade is at the 25% level. Occasionally, price may retrace to 50% or 75% of the secondary range, but deep pullbacks are less common. Pre-entry and shallow retracement setups tend to perform best in this session. In summary, the London session offers clean continuation trades with high probability of follow-through. When executed with discipline, these ranges provide reliable opportunities, especially in Euro futures and EUR USD. New York session. Now let's talk about the New York session. For this session, Please also refer to my previous NASDAQ futures video, where I explain the ranges in more detail. The power of 3 range here is defined from 9:00 a.m. to 2:00 p.m. You can experiment with statistical ranges to mark support and resistance zones for this session, such as 8:30 a.m. to 12:00 p.m. or 10:00 a.m. to 2:00 p.m. I personally don't rely on statistical support resistance tools for NASDAQ, since I already have enough experience with the current indicators I use, but they may help you refine your own framework. Target instrument: NASDAQ Futures, NQ. Special session notes. 1. Always follow the standard entry module when trading New York. 2. Why not trade NASDAQ in London? The London session has low volume for NASDAQ futures. I'll show this in the examples later. While we do have statistics for London ranges in NASDAQ that you can use to enter, it is tradable, but I don't prefer it unless I see something really good forming. You may still use them for reference, and I've shared those stats on screen for anyone who wants to experiment, but I recommend sticking to New York for consistent volume and reliability. 3. Note that the London ranges for NASDAQ and Euro do not align. Each asset has its own statistical ranges that meet the 75% plus probability criteria. In short, the New York session is the most effective for NASDAQ futures, with strong volume, clear statistical ranges, and reliable continuation patterns. Standard failure scenario. Let's talk about the standard failure scenarios you might face when trading these ranges. 1. Wrong read on the initial range. Sometimes the pre-entry in the initial range fails. In this case, the safer option is to wait for a clean break and retest of the range before re-entering. If you have a strong directional bias, you may attempt a re-entry, but this is not preferred. The disciplined approach is to look for a retest setup rather than forcing trades. 2. First range double break. This scenario occurs when the initial range breaks on both sides. Statistically, this is a low probability day. If it does occur, forget about the first range entirely. Shift focus to the second range, wait for its break and retest. If you already expect one side of the second range to break, you may take a pre-entry there. Consider this an outlier day for the first range. 3. Both ranges double break. This is the lowest probability failure scenario. When both the initial and secondary ranges double break, it signals an improbable outlier day. In such cases, the best choice is to stop trading for that session. Accept that today is an anomaly and come back the next day with discipline. In summary, failure on pre-entry right arrow, wait for break retest. First range double break right arrow, shift focus to second range. Both ranges double break right arrow, walk away. No trades for that session. This mindset keeps you consistent and prevents overtrading on statistically rare scenarios. Why should you trade this framework? The first and most important reason is that it gives you statistical entry times. You don't have to spend the entire day waiting for setups or doing heavy structural analysis across multiple timeframes. The entries are defined and backed by probabilities. There are no complex concepts to learn, just simple, repeatable rules. The framework consistently offers setups with 75% or higher probability in your favor. Even if you miss or fail on the first attempt, the framework often provides a second chance entry, also backed by statistics. It avoids the need for endless multi-timeframe analysis or marking up multiple charts. Everything is focused, mechanical, and session-based. It gives you mechanical entries to take and mechanical targets to follow, reducing subjectivity. You also get multiple opportunities per day.